This is an old Intel NUC that I picked up on eBay. iCore 5, 16 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage. This is the front, and these are the ports on the back. Now in this video, we're going to take this thing all apart, and we're also going to test it out. So yeah, you have a bunch of standard normal ports on the back there. Nothing else too interesting, pretty standard stuff. That's like the model number and everything. And it came with this charger, which is almost maybe a third of the size of the NUC itself. So that's one thing. And these screws are already loosened, so we're just going to open this thing right up. And yeah, this sticky note was from the person who sold it on eBay. They have Linux Mint already installed on it. We're going to test that out, and we're also going to replace it with Ubuntu and some other things. But anyways, pull this thing off, and inside here you can see everything that's in there. This is mostly all the interesting stuff. You can also see the CPU on the other side of the board, which we're going to show you when we finally pull this thing out. But yeah, first thing to point out here, 2 sticks of RAM, and so each of these is going to be 8 gigs. So 2 8-gig sticks of RAM for a total of 16 gigs of RAM. We have our M2 drive here, 128 gigs. And you have an additional SATA port right there. If you wanted to connect another drive, you might be able to fit something in there, or you could probably have like the cable, hanging out of this if it were open. But yeah, you could pop the RAM out like that. This is what it looks like when you pop the RAM out. So those are the sticks of RAM. And we're going to be taking this whole thing apart. It's going to take a little bit of time. All right, got our screwdriver here, and we're going to unscrew. So the RAM, we just pop it out, but the drive here, one screw, unscrewed that. We can pop that guy out. There you go. There is our storage. I'm going to set that aside as well. And right here looks like our Wi-Fi card, and those are 2 cables that basically serve as a Wi-Fi antenna. Now I'm going to try not to fast forward any parts of this video. I cut out some of the parts where I was fiddling around with it. So now I'm going to take out a few screws so we can actually pull this board out and see the other side. This actually did take me a while because this board is actually really tight inside here. There's not a lot of wiggle room, and it was kind of tricky actually pulling it out even after pulling all the screws out. So I cut some of that, like me fumbling around with it and stuff. I cut some of that out, but with the clips that I did keep, I'm trying not to fast forward anything. I'm going at, yeah, that's where the 2 screws were, and yeah, I think you could put 2 other screws in there as well. So, anyways, yeah, this is about where I'm figuring out that it's a little bit tight. You can kind of pull it up on different sides, but also partly because of the ports being, they're slightly sticking into those indentations. That makes it a little harder too. You can pull it up on one side, but not the other side. And I don't want to break anything, right? I know some people pull these things apart a whole lot faster than I am in this video. This is the first one of these that I've actually taken apart. It's a lot easier than like a Mac Mini or a lot of other devices, though. Now here I'm going to pop this thing out in the front. You'll see when I turn it around to show you. But there are some tabs here. You can kind of push them down with a screwdriver or with any kind of poking tool. And I figured removing this thing on the front panel would make it a little bit easier to fit this out. So yeah, pulled that off. Just a cosmetic thing. Yeah, this makes it a little easier to pull this out. Still really tight on both sides, though. So we've got about 10 seconds or so. Oh, no, here we go. This is it. We're at the part where I actually successfully got this out. So I'd cut away for a little bit. But yeah, those ports were kind of what was making it tricky. And almost there. there we go. We've got it out. So yeah, a little bit harder than I thought it would be, but really not that big of a deal just because it's such a tight fit. And that's basically what the shell looks like. And this is basically the system board. I'm going to pull off these cables for the wireless antenna. And here we go, system board. So this is the side that we've already seen. I'm going to turn it over here. This side has the CPU. Now, I was originally kind of thinking maybe I'd redo the thermal paste or something, but I opted not to do it. And you could take this case apart a little bit more, but I'm not going to. That's as far as I'm going with it. This is basically just the shell here. There's a little bit of dust in there, but not a whole lot. It's really not that bad. It's a little scuffed up and scratched up, but for something really old that I picked up off eBay, it's relatively clean. Set that to the side a little bit. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, so you can see active cooling on there, a fan plugged into the system board, and yeah, the CPU is going to be under that. I think more likely right under the thing right next to it, and you see there's a battery right there. Other than that, nothing too crazy, pretty normal, standard stuff. And we're going to be putting this thing back together pretty soon. You can see here, I think what I was going for with this shot, I wanted to show how, yeah, that thing matches up to the shell and the button on the shell. And just kind of getting a shot from every different angle there. And we're going to cut away to, all right, so this is me pulling. So I did end up pulling this outer part off. And you can actually take this apart a little bit more to get that. You see that that part that's on like the very top there. You can take that off. I think you had to destroy rivets or it was something that was more difficult than I wanted to actually do, so I opted not to do that. It looked like you should be able to pull that off, but I ended up not doing it. Anyways, this is with everything put back together, and we're actually testing it out. So I plugged in a keyboard, a mouse, a monitor, and some power, and we're powering it on. Push the little button there. In a little bit, I'm going to show you how it lights up when it's actually booting. So there's actually a hard drive activity light there. It's hard to see with the lighting because it's pretty bright where I am, but you see that is lighting up. It's flashing blue as there's hard drive activity on our SSD. And this is on top of, I have this thing resting on top of a pile of other old junk that I've been testing out. It's on top of an old MacBook Pro I also picked up off eBay just for testing and stuff, which is sitting on top of, I think, an Acer computer, another old Acer laptop. So anyways, looking over here, I have a bunch of other things, and this is it booted up into Linux Mint, and the password that was provided on that little sticky note is going to work. You can see here we also have some random camera I left in the shot, and I have my mini NAS that I still haven't 3D printed a case for yet, also here while I'm logging into this. And here we go. We're getting right logged in, and so this would work as is, but I personally wouldn't trust a system that somebody else installed. You don't know what's on there. Some random person sells you something on eBay. Appreciate the good deal on the hardware and everything, but I'm not going to trust an OS someone else installed. You could have any number of things on there, so I'm going to wipe it. I in this case, I'd wanted to use Ubuntu just as a standard thing to test it. I'm not going to stick with Ubuntu. I'm thinking, I might. We're going to see. I tried out Proxmox on this also. First, we're going to take a look at what's installed here and check the system out using Linux Mint. We're going to show you briefly. We're going to test out Ubuntu on here. Ultimately, the last thing I did on here was install Proxmox. We'll show you that in a bit. But yeah, you can see here, these are no log out. The person who installed this probably just powered it off without logging out. And based on this history, it looks like they just installed the system and tested to see that it's working, and that's it. Not a whole lot has happened on this box, so checking the history of the user they provided, checking the history of the root user. I poked around in the the file system a little bit, just in case there are like, who knows? You never know what you might find. There could be like a Bitcoin wallet or something, right? So I'm just checking through what's on here. You do this with any system that already has an OS installed, whether it be an old system I pull out of the trash or something I buy on eBay. I just check it out to see what's on there, just out more out of curiosity than anything. And you never know when you're going to find something that does have one of these days. Maybe I will find something with an old Bitcoin wallet on it. Anyways, here we are. I just abruptly cut away to after having installed it off of this USB drive. This is me finishing the Ubuntu install. So just wanted to and restarting now. Just wanted to capture a quick clip of that. Didn't want to go through the whole install on this video, but here we are with the system booted up without the USB drive. Ubuntu is now installed on the internal drive. So here we go. This is a freshly installed Ubuntu system. And I'm kind of adjusting the camera without cutting away or anything. But here we go. We're going to test this out a little bit just to see how it runs. And it runs nice and smoothly, even though this is a relatively old system. So we have this modified GNOME desktop with all the Ubuntu extensions and stuff. Hopefully you can still kind of see what's on the screen. I'm zooming in a lot, so hopefully this is clear on this video. But yeah, here we are logged into our fresh Ubuntu system. We're going to take a look at like the specs of the machine, stuff like that, just to kind of show you what we have. So LS CPU, need a lowercase e there to list all the cores. So we have 4 cores, 4 CPU cores, and 16 gigs of RAM. So not a bad system. Not having to use swap at all. Only using 1.6 gigs on this modified GNOME desktop. Let's check the storage. There we go. Used 11 gigs used, so that's a big chunk used. We could probably trim it down if we wanted to, but anyways, this is how the file system is partitioned up. And what else? Like, yeah, expand that a little bit so you can kind of see it. A lot of loop devices for all the snaps because it's Ubuntu. That kind of annoys a lot of people, but basically our drive is STA and it's partitioned into, there's a root partition there. Anyways, that other one, off the top of my head, it's either like boot or EFI or something like that. Anyways, I believe, I last I remembered, I thought Ubuntu gave you both of those, boot and EFI, so it would be compatible on the largest number of systems. I could be misremembering that. Anyways, I'm going to try out YouTube just to show that you can play YouTube videos on this, just to show how this functions as a desktop system. I wasn't planning to use this as a desktop system. You could, but I'm going to show you Proxmox on this at the end of this video for just a few seconds. And ultimately, I'm going to either install Ubuntu server or keep Proxmox on it. I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to probably just use this as a testing system to test out a lot of stuff. So anyways, this is YouTube, and I guess this is, what is this, an ad playing? So we're going to skip that, and this is basically me testing out YouTube with my own channel. This is one of the other videos that I've already published. Here I'm going blah, 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 talking about a MacBook Neo, and anyway, so it seems to be functioning very nicely. Desktop works smoothly. Plenty of RAM, plenty of CPU power for, regular desktop use, as long as you're not doing hardcore gaming or video editing or something that takes intense CPU usage. This system, an old system like this that was pretty cheap off of eBay, is very much functional. So anyways, we're going to cut away here. I want to show you, here we have Proxmox installed on this guy. So this is the last thing I installed on here, and I think I want to test this out, and I may keep it. I may switch over to Ubuntu server and come up with something to just run VMs directly. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit that subscribe button, and we will see you guys on that next video.